Thank you everyone for joining us today for an exciting announcement. With me today are Lincoln City Council Member James Michael Bowers, Lincoln Transportation Utilities Director Liz Elliott, Nebraska Department of Transportation Director Vicki Kramer, BNSF Railway Director of State Government Affairs Jeff Davis, and Deb Shore, District Coordinator for Congressman Mike Flood, and Ray Ringline, who's also here with us today. He's the Outreach Director for Senator Deb Fischer. And we're also so pleased to be joined by Roger Feigard, Executive Director of the Railroad Transportation Safety District, or RTSD, Barb Beyer with the City of Lincoln, Aaron Keller with Olson, and David Carey of the City of Lincoln, Lancaster County Planning Department, all of whom have played a pivotal role on us reaching this historic moment. This historic moment is one made possible by the folks I have mentioned, by our federal partners, particularly President Joe Biden, Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg, and the Administrator of the Federal Railroad Administration, Amit Bose, whose leadership in enacting and implementing the bipartisan infrastructure law propelled a once-in-a-generation investment in our nation's infrastructure and competitiveness. And through the resources of the bipartisan infrastructure law, the City of Lincoln made history in 2022 when we secured a $23.6 million award for our Multimodal Transportation Center, the single largest competitive grant the city had ever received. Until now. This month, we are making history once again, and I'm pleased to express my gratitude to the U.S. Department of Transportation, which has awarded the City of Lincoln and Lancaster County Railroad Transportation Safety District a grant of up to $66.7 million to build a new bridge at 33rd and Cornhusker Highway that will eliminate 2 at-grade railroad crossings. And with this historic grant, the largest competitive grant we've received as a city, we will improve safety, reduce traffic delays, and enhance transportation connections for Lincoln's drivers, pedestrians, and cyclists. Now, this significant award will cover over half of the total estimated cost of the project. An award of this magnitude took such a concerted effort, strategic planning, and strong partnerships. I just want to give a brief overview of the organizations involved in securing this unprecedented award and their contributions to it. So first, I want to thank Congressman Mike Flood and Senator Deb Fischer for submitting letters of support for our grant proposal. Endorsement of this project from these 2 members of our federal delegation was absolutely key to our success. Then there's the RTSD, our incredibly valued partner agency, which will oversee the implementation of this important project and contribute $16.9 million in matching funds. They are absolutely essential to the victory we're celebrating today. The RTSD worked with the city and our partners at Olson to craft a winning grant proposal, and I want to just express my deepest appreciation of Commissioner Rick Vest for his leadership and of the other elected officials who serve on the RTSD. I also want to thank Roger Feigard for his great work and continued partnership. We're so glad you came back and so glad you're here for this. We're also truly grateful to Director Vicki Kramer and our partners at the Nebraska Department of Transportation, who have pledged to contribute $25 million to support this vital project. And to our private sector partners at BNSF Railway, including Jeff Davis, who have pledged over $4.7 million toward the project. We wouldn't be here today without you. The US DOT officials I met with were very impressed with our strong collaboration, and that collaboration was key to the successful outcome we're celebrating today. And then finally, of course, with the City of Lincoln having served as the lead applicant on this grant, I want to offer special thanks to LTU Director Liz Elliott, Chris Humphrey, and our talented colleagues at LTU, and City Grant Writer Barb Beyer for their excellent work to develop our grant proposal. I was so proud to lift up the fruits of our city team's labor when I met personally with Secretary Buttigieg and his team at USDOT in May of 2024 to advocate for our application. Now, here to share more about this grant and how the 33rd and Cornhusker project will benefit our community members and visitors is LTU Director Liz Elliott. Liz?
Thank you, Mayor. The Railroad Crossing Elimination Program grant, created by the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law and administered by the Federal Railroad Association, is the largest competitive grant received in city's history. These crucial dollars will fund an estimated 58% of the 33rd and Cornhusker Highway intersection improvement project. This transformative project is set to greatly improve some long-standing challenges around the 33rd and Cornhusker Highway area. Sadly, in the last 37 years, traffic data shows 20 crashes, resulting in 6 fatalities and 3 injuries at this area. This project will be essential to reducing and ideally eliminating such injuries and fatalities, and to improving overall transportation safety for years to come. With a projected total project cost of $120 million, 4 different local and state partners came together to contribute nearly $48 million to the project. The Nebraska Department of Transportation dedicated $25 million in federal funds. The Railroad Transportation Safety District dedicated nearly $17 million in match funds. Burlington Northern Santa Fe Railway dedicated nearly $5 million in match funds, and the City of Lincoln is dedicating $1.5 million in match funds, with the potential to contribute another nearly $2 million in the next 8 years if City Council adds the initiative onto the April primary ballot, and if voters approve the continuation of the Lincoln on the Move quarter-cent sales tax. What the community may not realize is the city's funding portion of the project comes from the Lincoln on the Move quarter-cent sales tax, where 1.5% of all funds from this initiative go directly to 33rd and Cornhusker Highway project. If the Lincoln on the Move initiative stops, funding will be limited. With Lincoln on the Move funding, the 33rd and Cornhusker Highway intersection improvement project will be a large, valuable investment in our city's future. RTSD is currently finalizing the environmental process with the federal government to ensure there are no concerning environmental impacts to the surrounding area. Every detail of the design phase from 2025 through 2027 will be carefully planned to align with our goals for safety, efficiency, and connectivity. We expect to begin construction in 2028 with an estimated opening by the end of 2031. Our partners will minimize disruptions and maximize efficiencies during construction, and we will continue to engage with the community and keep you informed every step of the way. This project is about creating a safer, more connected, and more vibrant community for all of us. Thank you to our partners, our elected officials, all of our stakeholders, and our LTU team, including project delivery manager Chris Humphrey, who is the project manager for this project. And thank you to every single one of you who, for your past support when you voted for the Lincoln on the Move sales tax funding in 2019. This funding is key in making the city's contribution to this large project and 65 other street projects across Lincoln possible during the 6-year initiative. We can't wait to continue our partnerships and the progress to improving this intersection. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Director Elliott. The City of Lincoln and Lancaster County work alongside the RTSD to fund railroad safety projects throughout our city and county. And at this time, I'd like to invite Roger Feigard, Executive Director of the RTSD, who will share thoughts on behalf of Lancaster County Commissioner Rick Best, who was unable, unfortunately, to attend due to a public hearing he's at just downstairs. Roger?
Rick apologizes for not being able to be here. He sincerely wanted to. But we want to remind folks in this community that just like the history of the RTSD over the last 50 years, this project is much more than just infrastructure, concrete and steel. This is about making Lincoln and Lancaster County safer and more connected, more efficient for everyone. The Railroad Crossing Elimination Program grant makes this possible. We are totally 100% funded through today. About 48 trains pass through this corridor every single day. That can be quite a bit of waiting in your vehicle, and we're going to significantly reduce those traffic delays and replace them with smoother traffic flow around the same time that you would by increasing and changing the traffic patterns, we need to widen Cornhusker Highway and improve the intersections there to handle the rerouting of the traffic. Creating a roundabout at 33rd and Huntington Avenue and a second roundabout at 33rd and Adams Street where we close those rail crossings. We'll also be improving the 44th Street at-grade crossing, making it ADA compliant and continuing the ability for the local neighborhoods and pedestrians to cross the railroad tracks at that point. We can confidently say this project will save lives and prevent multiple points of conflict for potential crashes in the future. We're also reducing the congestion across the rail corridor with a new viaduct. This will allow vehicles, pedestrians, and cyclists to move freely and efficiently. The upgrades with this and other rail improvements allow the railroad to operate between Hobson Yard downtown and Havelock Yard in northeast Lincoln, make those train schedules more reliable, less conflicts, and that's a win for everybody, commuters, businesses, transit, and the broader transportation network. Finally, we're improving multimodal connectivity with sidewalks and trail improvements to make this area more accessible for pedestrians and cyclists. It's all about promoting healthier, active transportation options and making our community more vibrant and safe. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Roger. You've been such a dedicated leader on railroad transportation safety. I can remember meeting with you back when I was on City Council about this very project. You've had this vision for a long time, and we're really grateful to be executing on the vision, and this partnership's really important. So I want to thank Roger. I want to thank Commissioner Vest and the other members of the RTSD. The city also works closely with our partners at the Nebraska Department of Transportation to collaborate on transportation-related projects, including this 33rd and Cornhusker project. And here to share more about her organization's very important role in today's announcement is Nebraska Department of Transportation Director Vicki Kramer. Director Kramer?
Thank you, Mayor. Projects like this, of this complexity, don't happen without strong partnerships, but they definitely don't happen without vision. And as you've heard, as we've gone through this project and the history of this project, that vision has spanned decades. We've seen commitment from the local government, we've seen commitment from the railroad, we've seen commitment from the department that has spanned years and administrations. And it's that strong partnership and that strong vision is how we got here. And so the Nebraska Department of Transportation is proud to contribute $25 million to this project, to see the safety benefits come, and to be able to see the efficiencies. Everyone understands what happens when you get caught behind a train, but it's those safety instances where we start to see people's lives impacted for forever that we know we need these types of projects. The bipartisan infrastructure law allowed some of these projects to actually move forward where they wouldn't in the past, where finding close to $70 million is difficult for a project that spans so many different partners. That's what makes this opportunity so great. It makes an opportunity for us to really build the transportation improvements that are going to impact lives, pedestrian safety, through rail safety, through efficiency and freight. That's what this project does. And we're very thankful for our congressional partners to seeing that opportunity and voting for the bill and seeing the impacts come down to the local level, because that was the goal, to see the impacts at the local level, to see the support at the state level, and the support at the federal level come financially as well as through initiatives. And so we're very proud to be a partner of this. We look forward to working closely with Director Elliott and the rest of the stakeholders to make sure that this project is successful and delivered on time and on schedule. So thank you, Mayor, for having us. We look forward to working with you.
Thank you. And that's a shared mutual sentiment. We're very excited to be working with you on this. All right, BNSF Railway is an essential partner on this project, and here to provide more details about the railroad's role in this grant and enhancing railway safety at 33rd and Cornhusker is BNSF Railway Director of State Government Affairs, Jeff Davis. Jeff, it's great to have you back at the city.
Thanks. Thank you, Mayor. BNSF is proud to partner with Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the state of Nebraska in this project It's a great example of private-public partnerships that can improve safety and mobility of the public and ensure the efficient movement of freight throughout the region. For more than a decade, Roger Feigard and the RTSD have been working with BNSF and other agencies on how we could together improve these long-standing infrastructure challenges. This grant and partnership will help make those plans reality for the betterment of people living, working, and traveling through Lincoln. We look forward to continuing our work with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jeff. We're so successful because of this partnership. It is complicated, complex work, and by working hand in hand, we're making some big strides. Thank you so much. Next up, I'd like to invite Deb Shore, District Director for Congressman Mike Flood, and I just want to say a few things about Deb. Deb's a former Lancaster County Commissioner with an incredible history of dedication to serving our community members, and she's the second longest serving county commissioner in Lancaster County. So more than just about anyone else up here, she understands just how incredible this moment is. She was one of the longest serving RTSD board members and the president, and I believe she was, leading that board when I served on it. I learned a lot from Deb Shore, and to be standing up here today is just a really monumental milestone. Thank you for supporting this project over the years. Thank you from your new position, working with Congressman Flood to make sure that he has been able to stand behind this project too and offer that letter of support. Those letters of support from our federal delegation really make a difference. And I'm so pleased to invite you up to share some of your thoughts because you have a lot of wisdom to share about this moment. Thank you.
Mayor, I do appreciate those very kind words. I share your sentiments. It's an absolute honor to be here today representing Congressman Mike Flood as we celebrate this monumental achievement for our community. Congressman Flood and I have been working on this project and strongly advocating for many years. He was proud to submit a letter of support for the grant proposal, as was Senator Deb Fisher, knowing how transformative this project would be for Lincoln and Lancaster County community. We commend the City of Lincoln, the RTSD, BNSF, and NDOT, and all others involved for their hard work, collaboration, and determination to bring this vision to life. Today marks a historic moment for Lincoln and Lancaster County and what can be accomplished when we work together. Thank you all for your commitment to making our community a better, safer place. Mayor?
Thank you so much, Deb. And again, thank you to Congressman Flood for your advocacy and support. Now, Senator Deb Fisher also provided a letter of support for this project, and I am proud to once again acknowledge that Ray Ringline is here with us. He's the Director of Outreach for Senator Fisher. Thank you for being here today. Please convey our heartfelt appreciation to the Senator for her continual support of infrastructure in our community and what this project will do for Lincoln. So, Senator Fisher and her team have assisted us in making this historic moment happen today, and we're so excited. Thank you. Another strong proponent of this project is Lincoln City Councilmember James Michael Bowers, whose Northeast Lincoln District includes the intersection at 33rd and Cornhusker Highway. Councilmember Bowers also serves as Vice President of the RTSD Board, and you won't find a more fierce advocate for Northeast Lincoln. We're really proud to have him as a partner at the city, advocating for streets and safety, and I'd now like to invite him up to say a few words about what this project means to him and the people he represents in Northeast Lincoln. Councilman?
Thank you, Mayor. The importance of this federal grant cannot be overstated. Infrastructure and public safety have been two of my top priorities on the Lincoln City Council. This federal grant will go a long way towards advancing both priorities. Eliminating the two at-grade crossings will reduce traffic congestion and vehicle delays, and increase response times from our first responders. This makes this grant especially significant for Northeast Lincoln, but also for our entire community. I want to thank all the partners who worked hard to make this announcement a reality and who have pledged funds, including the City of Lincoln, the RTSD, Nebraska Department of Transportation, and BNSF Railway. This is a great example of what can be achieved working in partnership and maximizing financial resources to address a real problem. Mayor?
You bring up such a good point, Councilman Bowers. I mean, for anyone who's ever been stuck behind a train when school pickup is happening, you know how stressful that can be. But imagine if you were waiting for an ambulance to get to your house and they had to wait for a train. This is really going to make a difference for our emergency response. All right. We know that you have been and will continue to be an advocate for this project and passionate about this area and help us get the word out to your the people you represent. And we're so pleased to be improving real street safety for the thousands of commuters who use this intersection daily. So before we wrap up, I just want to thank everyone who's had a hand in this. Again, there are so many people who've come together in partnership to help achieve this success for the people we serve. This grant, as you've heard, it's more than just funding. It's an investment that will make Lincoln an even safer, more efficient, and more connected community, and we are grateful. So I want to say a special shout out as well to our City of Lincoln, Lancaster County Planning Department, and to our engineers at Lincoln Transportation and Utility, to our construction crews. We know all of you are up to transforming this intersection into a model of modern infrastructure, and to our community members and businesses and residents, thank you for your support as we make these improvements. And with that, we'd be happy to take any questions.
How long has this project kind of been in the works?
A long time. Roger, do you care to elaborate on how long? You know, the RTSD has to bank cash. So getting a grant that covers more than half of the project considerably accelerates the timeline, but you know, it is a big, complicated project.
Sure. I think some of us at the RTSD in the city of Lincoln had thoughts about this concept as early as 2014, so almost 10 years ago. And we actually started into the study process in 2016 and 17, so a long time, but it just goes to show when there is a worthy, appropriate project and activity out there, if you stick with it, you can get there. So a long time, well worth the wait.
And what is the total overall projected cost of the project?
Total estimated cost is $120 million. The RTSD has spent a little over $5 million to date, getting us to the point we are. And so then with our partners in the grant, the rest of that funding and the money that the RTSD has set aside is able to make all those payments.
Yeah, as you've kind of been planning this, how have you kind of worked with like residents and businesses in the area to hear feedback about the project?
Public involvement in Lincoln is very important. Very little gets done without the support of the community, neighborhoods, and businesses. And from the very beginning, through a planning and environmental linkage study, we created a committee. And numerous meetings, pulling people together, open houses, listening. In fact, about halfway through the Pell study, we found that one of our solutions wasn't well accepted in the community. And we went back to the drawing board and we came up with a new alternative and a solution that was more acceptable to the businesses and the folks in the area, and we've carried that forward. So, and again, we have a website, folks writing in. We've tried to stay on top of communicating with everyone. And then we finally had a formal public hearing, meeting federal highway and NEPA rules last fall. And we had questions. We've responded to all those questions, and we are on the verge of a signed environmental document with NDOT and FHWA.
And will continue throughout as the project moves forward?
Yes, absolutely. Making sure that we're talking with folks so that they're never caught short, and also working with the contractors as we get closer to construction. What's the best way to build this infrastructure for the least encumbrance to the businesses and the folks living there, and maybe build it even a little more economically if possible. But
are you guys having to like buy out any properties there to, or like move anybody out of the way to kind of build this project?
yeah, there are some properties that would be acquired, and we have met with all of those folks and continue to meet with them. Several of them are There's even the possibilities we get into final design discussing early right-of-way acquisition for those properties that we know that we need to buy in its entirety, but we're not at that spot yet where we can move ahead and do that, but we'll be open to that.
Are changes made to the project when talking to local businesses? What were those changes?
We had a proposed interchange and viaduct that took out a rather infamous cafe in northeast Lincoln and a couple of other businesses. And so looking hard at that, we found that we could move that infrastructure and not build in that location that would interfere with those businesses along the Cornhusker Highway.
This might be a little bit preemptive, but do you all have an idea of kind of what phases this construction would happen in?
Not yet. I think we have some ideas. We've been visiting with our consultant. It's a large project. It's spread out. I think we want to look for opportunities. Are there pieces of the project we could build first and get done and out of the way? The goal is not to make the entire area look like a war zone, but piece by piece. We've got some ideas, but we just haven't. We're not yet through our final design, and we're not yet at a spot to be able to do that. And we'll entertain discussion with the contracting community as well to see if there's a better way to phase that.
Is there somewhere people can go to kind of see that once you have the final design, like kind of what it's going to look like a map or something?
Yes. Okay. We will, and you can go to lincoln.ne.gov and /streets. And there on our project page and our Lincoln on the Move page, there is a link and information about this project in particular. And as we get further into design and more of the scheduling, that type of thing, we will be sure to add that so people have access to it as we progress through the project.
There's a really cool 3D rendering.
It's a good point. There is currently out there a really cool 3D rendering, so you can check out kind of where the design is now. We have not finished design yet, so that is subject to change, but it does give you an idea of what it could look like when it's done.
Any further questions? All right, well, thank you for joining us today and learning more about how the City of Lincoln and RTSD and our partners at the state and the railway are working together to build an even safer and more efficient transportation network to make life better for the people of Lincoln.